Iburu, Iboya, Ibuche, everybody in Cyberland. It's your favorite Babalao. At least I hope so. Omodung, Ondileke, coming at you with an introduction. And something that probably I should have done, should have been like my first video, so you can understand who you're listening to, who you're learning from, who you're emailing, comments. All those things matter, especially because I have posted videos in the past about, what it is to be a godchild, what it is to be a godfather. And I think that fundamentally a lot of those things come to mind, but you need to understand the credibility of the person that's talking. And I think that means a lot. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got into the faith, because a lot of people have asked me the same question. How did you get here? How did you get to the point where now you're a bawalao, or now you're helping others, or you have godchildren? So without further ado, let's peel back that onion a little bit so we can understand. So first things first, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. And growing up, my mother would always attend, the spiritual masses, the misa espiritual. She was always getting consults, and she was always talking, getting readings, talking to santeros, santeras, and stuff. And she's not crowned. She wasn't initiated into anything. But that alone was a starting point, right? It was that spark that lit up a flame, because that intrigued me in many different ways. The other spark that kind of intrigued me was I grew up as a Catholic school boy. I went to Catholic school for quite a few years, and I went through the sacraments and everything like that. I read the Bible inside and out, but I always had that urge for knowledge and a better and deeper understanding of things. I wanted to understand life itself, down to the planets, to the stars, to the moons, to the heavens. It doesn't matter what it was. I needed a deeper understanding. In Spanish, we have a old saying that states, "Tú necesitas ver para creer." Okay? And knowing that concept, in English, it translates to you have to see in order to believe. Obviously, for those who work within the Christian, belief system, right, behind the Abrahamic belief systems, a lot of times that's not necessarily something that we're necessarily taught, something that's generally given. So that sparked that other spark that's gonna start the flame type of deal. As time grew, I got involved with a Cuban guy in Newark that was Crown Ochun, great guy. I worked with him for a couple of years just trying to understand things, and he would give me some of the philosophy and some of the basis of what this faith was about, which, again, that spark alone was also igniting that flame that is today. As time grew, I also learned a few things about myself, that I enjoy the gatherings. I enjoyed the religious gatherings, the spiritual gatherings, the physical gatherings, and it was all based on the fact that I had this urge to want to understand. I had this urge to want to gain knowledge, gain perspective, and see what is it, how do people think, and why do they think a certain way. That got me involved. I learned a lot of street knowledge. I got involved with a lot of things in the streets, and then good, bad, or indifferent, everything was for a purpose. Took me to now, I decided to join a different group because I needed to understand a different understanding of things. So the military super interested me because of the simple fact that it was a bigger group, a bigger purpose, right? Because at the end of the day, when we talk about believing in a higher being, when we talk about believing in something bigger than yourself, then that is answers within itself. That is making you look deep within yourself to understand you, right? I always still had the urge to understand our faith, all right? Our faith of the Orishas, the faith of Olodumare, and to understand where that needs to go next. Additionally, when we talk about our faith and so forth, we talk about the different aspects and pillars of our faith. So that always stuck in the back of my head. So now I'm in the military, And then I joined a different fraternity because I love and I enjoy understanding the secrets of things, understanding what makes groups do what groups do, what makes fraternities do what they do, and what's their origins. Because I think the origin of life and the origin of all things come with a purpose, come with a reason. So now I involve myself, and I am now part of the Freemasonry, right? The Free and Accepted Masons. I went through my pillars, all right? I went through my degrees, and I had a deeper understanding of what they were doing, which also tied in very philosophically to a lot of things that we do within our faith. Our faith itself ties into Freemasonry. Freemasonry and the streets and what streets do all ties in within our faith. Everything was tying itself in, even to the certain extent where we understand that the Abrahamic religions and so forth all tie back into our faith. Everything was starting to try to come together, okay? Now, I was ready to take that leap, and I was ready to understand who needed to be my godfather, who needed to be my godmother. And I went ahead and I started my search. No different than the video that I shot with understanding who's your godfather, understanding who to pick for your godfather. I was out of my own search. So this is now 2009, and I must have visited, I don't know, over a dozen botanicas, talked to different priests and priestesses. I got readings and consultations up the wazoo, I promise you. I must have spent over $1,000 easy in just consultations, because I already had an understanding of the faith. I already had an understanding on what needed to be thrown down. I already had that in the back of my mind that I want to see to believe before you are going to be initiating me into something that I know is going to better me and better my spiritual well-being. So after I've exhausted and I thought I was at my end's wits, I found myself on a botanica in Tampa, Florida, 1802 West Waters Avenue in Tampa, Florida. I met my godfather of Mano de Orula. I received my awofaka from people, okay? Okanatura. Man, what a great, knowledgeable guy. Gives it to you straight. And let me tell you, nobody knows their herbs, all right? The Iwe is better than people. Go to 1802 West Waters Avenue. Free advertisement, Padrino. But at the end of the day, introduced me to my Mano de Orula. Got my warriors. I got everything started to go. Things started to morph. I started to get the deeper understanding of things that I wanted. And I just kept moving, right? That urge, all right, and my constant drive to want to learn, I started to learn everything that my godfather was giving me, everything that he was trying to tell me. And I kept moving on at that point, to the point where now the option was on the table, because I was able to do Ifa. So I speak to my godfather, and then finally I make the decision. I am now going to go to the room of Ifa, and we got to make that investment. We got to make that spiritual investment happen. My godfather at that point will now be Ochetura. May he rest in peace. He's passed away now. My Yombona, which is my second godfather, would be People, who's the one who gave my Mano de Orula. All right, it was a win-win. Ochetura was super knowledgeable, man. When you say Ochetura, you talk about the Odun of Ache, the Odun of the beginnings of things, I want to say about the evolution, but it was the beginning of the spirits of things, the things that give you Ache, that give you the Ire for your life. Man, this guy epitomized it. He was really good at it. He was really good at taking care of his god kids, and man, he had a great Ila, and I got some great god brothers within my Ifa chain. He's got a great family, and I learned a lot from him. And that drove an even bigger urge to learn more. All right? So, in essence, that's my story. And my story is going to end like this. No matter what, we cannot learn it all. No matter what, we will always be in search for more. I will always be looking for the philosophical meaning of things. I will always be looking at the bigger picture. If I could spend my 24 hours in the day doing anything, it's probably 8 hours of sleep. maybe a couple hours to work out, but the rest of it is to understand Ifa. Understand Olodumare is setting course. With Kamara Ye and Olofin and Odua and Orula. Understand how everything comes together in a giant sequence of things that are to be, and how can we manipulate those things for the betterment of human beings, mankind. So those things are very important. So I just want to kind of make sure that you guys had the brief introduction about No Kitty, what it is that I am, what it is that who I am, and who's the guy that's talking to you on the screen. You know, maybe you're on your phone, maybe you're on the TV, maybe you're on your tablet. But I want to make sure that I am your favorite Bawala, and I think I owe this to you. So for all those who asked the questions, now you have a video to pertain to and look back at. So with that said, Iburu Boya Bucheche, leave some comments in the bottom and shoot me an email if you need to. Ache.